boys and girls, children of all ages. Back with another episode of Blerd Assassin.
I'm not
podcast.
a Blerd.
He's a Blerd.
I am not a Blerd.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
way cooler than a Blerd. Fuck out.
Blerds are cool. We're
But,
cool.
all
We've
right,
been cool.
come on.
All right, so today we're discussing the reset button.
Blerds kicked me out of their Facebook groups.
They will always kick you out.
Am I a Blerd? All right, come on.
You actually are.
Come on.
All light-skinned niggas is Blerds. Y'all
Like
just don't
the
realize.
fucking black sheep, like the light skin is black sheep of the Blerds you've ever met in your life. Go ahead.
All right. Today we're discussing the reset button. For those of you who have never heard this term or not familiar with this term or unfamiliar with this term, it's basically having a child that's school age and suddenly having another child hitting that reset button. So now you're going right back to teaching how to walk, first words, first curse words, trying to feed the baby, breastfeeding, diapers, all that great stuff that comes with it.
There's different levels of it.
There's definitely different levels.
Definitely.
Different levels. And, we just thought it'd be an interesting topic to discuss in this day and age because, we're in a society where not all of us are married and not all of us have children with the same people, due to circumstances, a million of them out there, a myriad of circumstances that may cause that. So, but we just want to discuss it, that reset button.
I'm looking all over for this weed pen. I had a joke, and I don't even have the fucking weed pen. So we're gonna just move past that, edit that out.
There it is.
That was gold. We just blew that on
We
that.
blew it. But with the reset button, I think one of the major aspects of it is like when you have kids and then you have other kids. Like my child is almost like 10 years older than my second child. And I have a
That's
third
nothing.
child a year younger than him. Yes,
nothing.
he has me beat, clearly. What is it?
I
What's it
waited
count?
17 years before I started again,
Yeah.
Wanted to make sure I never wanted to retire.
That's
Because
like
that shit's overrated. That's for people. That's like people who quit.
that's a thorough
People like
reset.
trying to enjoy your life.
And it's-
Raise these kids.
So it happens, at different stages of our lives. And, the older kids are
Like
there.
that fucking weed pen.
They'll definitely recognize that or notice that they're being raised differently than the younger kids. The second time around, I feel
Oh,
like,
man, I took a trip to Michigan to get all of this stuff, and now I don't have any of it. And we did this, full disclosure, we did this yesterday, and it was perfect. I had the stuff and everything. Not that I would have showed y'all on camera.
long running joke. So,
but I
yeah.
had stuff. Joe Fees hitting me up.
The older kids will notice that you're raised a bit, they're being raised a bit differently than, or the younger kids are raised a bit differently than how they were raised. With age, you become a little bit more lenient, more patient. That first time around is like a trial by fire. You feel you may be ready for a child or you may not be. It may be sprung upon you. But it's definitely that trial by fire. That's what my dad told me. And there's no book for it. There's nothing out there that can prepare you for being a father or being a parent. At best, you can just hope that the other person on the other side, your co-parent, no matter where you all wind up in life, is just as all in as you are.
Early in the game, if you do it early like we did in the beginning, like you end up telling people at the top of your lungs, I'm somebody's daddy. You better quit talking to me like that, that comes with certain privileges. You get to retire from kids early, unless you do the reset button.
Yeah.
But
And retire from work.
Yeah.
You do get that. You get that privilege. If you
raise them right,
if
and
you
they
raise
gonna
them right.
take care of you.
Yeah.
But
You
shit,
can definitely, you always,
retire at 60 and you're gonna be alive till 100. I mean, they gotta take care of you. like, nah.
but I think like a lot of us gauge parenthood off that 18-year-old, when we can push them out the house, they're ready for
Yeah.
college or life.
Over 18 years
And
of
we,
generation, that's not true.
that's not true, and
Motherfuckers
you
is
learn that the
independent,
first
say,
time
like
around.
32.
Yeah, you definitely learn that the
32.
first time around. So, your second kid will experience a better version of you. More, like I said, more patience being exercised. You're a lot more lenient. They get away with basically murder. I've witnessed my brother and sister get away with murder for shit that I would have been murdered for.
Accomplice to that. If you were my older kid, you need to be a part of this shit. Help me help them get away with murder.
Right.
Make it easy on me.
or
Take
help.
a little bit on you. Shit.
Yeah.
That's what you do for me.
It's like
I fed you.
I witnessed my dad hit the reset button. Shit, it was almost about the equivalent of you. I was like 17, 18, and to have little brothers and little sisters,
And babysit.
you know what I'm saying? I would watch them when I go to Virginia. I was watching them when
Watch
they were
your mouth
teenagers.
talking to me
You
and
know,
make
It
sure
was-
this little one be okay.
and that's how
I
it is.
love
You know,
I love it. You gotta do it like me if you gonna do it.
and like
I do it like that.
do it like me.
I do it like that. They think they friends and shit. No, my son is the boss of my other son. That's what I like. I'll be back, little dude. Take care of him. I'll be back.
And essentially, that's what they do. You know, they can help assisting with that younger child being raised up possibly better than them. You know, because they also have that experience. You know, a little bit more life experience, and they're closer to their age, and that generational gap that we feel as parents. You know, our kids can feel that in, and that's a plus. You know, we're not doing this just because they're built-in babysitters, although they can be, but it's definitely a plus.
Feed 'em.
You know, that's an upside of them. You know, having that older child.
Don't disappoint you no matter what. You might as well have them sit some babies.
The
A
la-
lot of the stuff that was already there, but with this new one, and I don't want to discourage people from having babies on the reset button, but don't do it. Don't do it. But you need to realize that whoever you're dealing with, they are not the same as you, not the way you came up. And there's gonna be a whole new dynamic. Like, I have a son, and he's a certain way, you know, and I feel like I put a lot of effort into that. But this new one, he don't care what I already laid down. He's not reading the tea leaves. He don't care any of that. Like, he's just gonna do his own thing. And, you know, I'm learning how to be a new parent with him.
Would you attribute that to the overall dynamic? I mean, it's a different, not only us like being different as parents, but the new parents being introduced. You know, how their parenting skills, you know, are, their parenting, you know, traits go about. What are their family dynamics? You know, that's also going to play a big factor into how our reset kids are raised. You know, my daughter is going to be raised completely different from my son because, you know, they have different mothers, they have entirely different families. You know, one may be involved with my culture, the other one may not.
If he gonna-
What also plays a huge factor into this, I believe, is time. Father time. It kicks all our ass.
Oh, we're talking about constructive things. I forgot.
Yeah, we are.
Yes, we are.
So like Father time kicks us
Yeah.
all in the ass,
Kids shit.
and
Kidiots.
the kidiots,
The little kiddies.
raising them properly.
Yes.
And with that, like, not only do you change mentally for the better, hopefully. I can say that both of us have changed for the better. We were good dads in the beginning.
A lot. Ask
We've gotten
Kamal
better.
Bishop, who was too good to do our podcast. Him and his boy Tony. I didn't even tell the jokes about that. They had a full jean outfit on, like Salt and Pepper. You know, and I had jokes about Salt and Pepper. He even knew who that was. So it was like, I'm not going to waste them on him. But
You got to see him because his son is light skinned like him and his friend is dark skinned
nah,
like
he
Pepper.
gonna be on here because when I get
If they
22
wear jean
fucking
jacket
followers,
outfits.
all of a sudden he's gonna be like, "Oh, okay, Dad, your podcast is okay." Yeah. we'll
So,
see.
like, example of Father Time getting away from us, we get those jokes, you know, and it only works so long before, you know, just culture gets away from us. Like, we barely were understanding of what our kids were experiencing. You know, we definitely don't like our older kids' music, and we had to
Right.
deal with all the, you know, whatever cartoons were on, what was it, the Doctor Lady and McStuffins and the Bob the Builder and all that.
The Dr. Lady was black though. I like.
She was slick.
I
Shout
like
out to
that.
Dr. McStuffins because they did do a positive
I like
thing, but
that.
it was Dr. McStuffins everywhere. And now I deal with boys. I have 2 boys now, you know, so I have to get reestablished. Luckily, I'm a fan of Marvel, so I try to, you know, supply that. And you know, they're good with Ninja Turtles. That made
Blerd stuff.
made a resurgence, so that's cool. But the music and the dancing and the TikTok and, you know, we're slowly morphing into our parents who just don't understand what our kids are doing, and we try to, and we feel we do, and we see some resemblance of what we knew, and it's just slowly just drifting away from us. And you know, that's when you have kids at a younger age, you can hold on to your youth a little bit longer, engage it with your kids. Because with the reset button kids, you know, they're a stark reminder. You know, we're growing old, and it's going to catch up with all of us soon. Eventually, we'll be our
Stop putting
grandkids.
me on video. Like, I would be much better just if I was talking. Like,
Jesus
I like to see me looking like this. All right, go ahead.
So, yeah, reset buttons. We don't want anybody to shy. Reset buttons. Don't shy away from it, but be prepared, fully prepared, because yeah, when it hits hard, and it's a stark reminder of how old you are.
It's a huge financial burden. I mean, you know, you need to be ready for it. You know, be closer to your 40s than your 30s if you're gonna do it. Or then, if you're not even pressing reset, if you're in your 30s, you're just a goof. You just spaced your shit wrong. But be financially ready for it, and really just don't do it.
Yeah,
Don't do
if
it,
you're not
because
ready for it, and do it with somebody you're prepared.
if you want to
do it with.
retire one day, I wouldn't do it, because this little guy, I could tell he's going to be a financial burden. He's not right in the head. He's not like
Y'all.
Trey.
Till next time, y'all be
We
safe.
got a lot more content on
Got what you want, got what you need. Is that what you want? Is that what you need? Got what you want, got what you need. I said, got what you want, got what you need. I make my way through the great old state, gliding like I'm a roller skate with dudes who work Section 8. While y'all love me, just work the block off a minimum wage. But if you was smart, you knock off your boss and get you a raise. So fire away, here come the heavyweights with the Mo-Dog stats batch, but I ain't Lorenz Tate.